Hey everyone, Luke here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do video 2, match 2, Luke Cosmos versus Sailor Moon. Honestly, this was a suggestion by a close friend of mine that I knew since high school, and I thought it would be it would be a good match considering that both Luke Cosmos and Sailor Moon have a lot in common. Which, when you think about it, like looking at Death Battle, they always compare two characters that are very similar in like abilities and whatever and background. So, let's go ahead and start off by introducing Sailor Moon. So let's start off. Let's see. Sailor Moon, high school girl who meets a talking black cat named Luna, who gets a magic pen and becomes a magic girl. um, Throughout the series, she starts out pretty weak, but then eventually she becomes one of the most overpowered anime characters ever. Age-wise, she starts out 14, but then ends the series around 16 to 18. Um, Powers and abilities, she has cosmic energy manipulation, whatever that means. I'm guessing it's like Goku manipulating ki for energy attacks, I'm guessing. She can manipulate reality, time, and space. She's immortal and can regenerate. She can, yeah, like I said, light, space, and time manipulation. Oh yeah, and also apparently she can move fast beyond light speed, and apparently strength and fighting abilities that is superior to Goku. But going back to what I said in my short about the debate between sorry, between Goku and Sailor Moon. The thing about that is that every time I watch a short that's Goku versus Sailor Moon, they give every stat to Sailor Moon. Oh, strength, Sailor Moon, speed, Sailor Moon, battle IQ, intelligence. Like, I'm sorry? I'm sorry? Like, okay, I guess I can understand light speed and power and feats and hacks and whatever, but come on, really, strength? Sailor Moon is stronger than Goku in strength. Go and what about battle IQ? I mean, Sailor Moon isn't a physical fighter. Like, from what I've seen about Sailor Moon, she's more about long range energy attacks than she is close combat fighting. So you can't say that she is physically stronger. In a hand to hand fight, I give that to Goku. Because Goku is a genius martial artist. Actually, that's all I have to say. He's a genius martial artist who trained in several forms of martial arts. Constantly trains to build himself up. Ultra instinct, like, I'm sorry. Like I said, if you want to say that her eternal form, which is basically her angel form, eclipses Goku and can easily erase him, sure. But I'm saying that Goku could probably solo Sailor Moon in her base form as well as her super form. Hold on. What is this form? Lambda power? In her final form, she gains power that transcends the limitations of the universe, allowing her to defy casualty. I have no idea what that means. Apparently, that's part of her powers and abilities. So she can manipulate reality, light, space, time. Like, okay, so her eternal form is basically a god form. I guess so. Now you're probably questioning, oh, how is Luke Cosmos supposed to combat this? Just because he has similar feats. By the way, feats. Let's go. Universal Restoration, defeated Chaos, Cosmic Travel, traveled 26,000 light years without reaching her limit, Existence Erasure, and Resurrection. Huh. Honestly, when I think about it, this match is going to be a lot closer than what I did Elytros versus Superman, if I'm being honest. Because first going into this, I knew very little about Sailor Moon when my friend introduced this matchup to me. So, how is this going to work? I already have a scenario came to mind. But, that's Sailor Moon. Let's talk about, let's talk about Luke Cosmos now. I mean, what is it about Sailor Moon that Luke Cosmos hasn't already done, right? I mean, Luke Cosmos, he's a child that was, his birth caused permanent, reality change to the Steven universe. Yeah, he's an AU character, like a what if scenario of what happens, like a what if sequel of what happens after Steven leaves at the end of the original series. So it's kind of an original story following the events of an already created story. This character is a little hard to be. So I guess the way to say is, I created the character, not the universe. I'm not taking credit for creating the universe that this story is based on. I'm taking credit for creating Luke Cosmos, who fits into this story. So Luke Cosmos, his birth affected reality, permanently affecting the Steven universe. He was experimented on, but when the scientists who were experimenting on him couldn't find the source of his power, they abandoned him. And then Garnet, who sensed his presence, found him and decided to take care of him. So for most of his life, he was cared for and pretty much raised by Garnet, Pearl, and, mostly Garnet, honestly. So he grows up being a very kind, very pacifistic, kind of like pure-hearted guy. Kind of like Steven, honestly, where he's just friendly and doesn't want to fight. And for like most of his life, he had to depend on the crystal gems to protect him. But the fact is, even though he started out pretty much powerless, being a normal, average human level, tier 10, the thing about Luke Cosmos is that his ability to adapt to situations, his intellect, his ability to adapt, to evolve his battle IQ, it's insane. Like, chapter 2 of the story is literally just him with his curiosity, basically finding out the truth about everything that was already known by at the end of the first series of Steven Universe, right? He reads about the Gem War. He he researches everything on the background of Rose Quartz leading up to Steven Universe and even Garnet. And so at that point, he already knew. So basically, at the beginning of the story, he basically already knew that Garnet was a fusion between Ruby and Sapphire without Garnet or Pearl or Amethyst even having to say anything to him. So, pretty smart, good battle IQ, very adaptable in situations. But you guys want feats, right? You guys want to see, like, oh, how powerful is this dude? I'm getting there. Kill. Anyway, so yeah, it's like for 10 years he has a normal life until corrupt gems starts attacking them, and it turns out it's because that his presence attracts corrupt gems to them. Which leads to him always being protected 24/7, and he didn't care for that. So by the time he reached the age of 16, he's like, I am tired of being treated like I need to be protected all the time. I want to be able to protect myself. So he found a way to convince Pearl to teach him swordsmanship and also on his own to build up strength and durability and actual hand-to-hand combat skills. He went out and sparred and decided to spar with Jasper without the crystal gems actually knowing. And the thing is, you would think, well, wouldn't Garnet have known because of her future sight or whatever? And that's the thing, no. Even though Luke Cosmos had no powers at this point, except maybe his healing factor, because to be honest, without his healing factor, Jasper probably would have killed him in the first spar. But but you would think, oh, couldn't Garnet have found out? And that's the thing. Luke Cosmos, despite not really having any abilities at this point, his aura and his presence is just so powerful that at the age of 16, even Garnet's future sight can't detect him. Basically creating a shield around him made of his own aura that blocks out any kind of psychic attacks and connections. And so for a long time after that, he starts going on missions with the crystal gems, being able to fight for himself, showing off his skills with a sword, and yeah, just showing off his insane battle IQ. And they're like, wait a minute, when did he get this good? Right? Oh my goodness. But, but then there would be but then we reach into this point where Steven Universe returns at the age of like 32 or something. We go through the whole fusion arc where he discovers that despite not having a gem, he can fuse with the crystal gems and even other humans, but that has never been shown yet. And then we go through this whole entire arc where he feels betrayed by Garnet and then loses trust in her, but then this evil corrupted gem called Ember, basically killed Garnet right in front of him and took her gems away, basically kind of copying that one episode thing, whatever. And of course, in this moment, Luke Cosmos felt heartbroken that he never had a chance to apologize. And they're like, and Pearl is like, Luke, he's not dead. The truth is. And in anger, he's like, I know the truth, okay? I know that Garnet's a fusion. I just wish I could have apologized to her. And then in serious mode, he just starts walking forward, and they're like, where are you going? And he's like, I am gonna save Garnet. And so that's what he does. He finds a way to get to Amber's ship, frees Ruby and Sapphire by himself, apologizes to her, and then goes off to fight Amber by himself. Yeah, instead of like in the original series where Steven was still pretty much useless, so it was Garnet who had a rematch against Jasper. I kind of like changed it around a bit, so it's Luke Cosmos took on this gem, showing off like basically proving how much he cared for the crystal gems, even Garnet specifically, because he even admits that like in the when the fight between him and Amber first happened, Luke gets pretty much wrecked. Like his he was skilled with his sword, and he had great hand-to-hand combat skills and enhanced strength and durability and regeneration, but he didn't have any of his other any of his star-based abilities yet. So he gets defeated in the first half of the battle, and Amber's like, "Why are you doing this? Why do you even fight for them?" And he's like, "You wouldn't understand." And Amber's like, "Okay, go ahead, try, throw your heart out at me. I honestly don't care." And then he goes on this monologue, basically explaining that at this point, the way he feels about Garnet for the crystal gems is more than just, hey, they're like family. He expresses that he generally loves them and loves Garnet like she is his own mother, because she took it upon herself to care for him and raise him and teach him life lessons. And so by the end of his like little monologue, he basically says that I'm fighting because I am fighting because you hurt someone I loved. And it is just intense, right? A 16-year-old boy who has very like little combat outside of like what he was taught goes off against Amber, who is this elite gem warrior, arguably stronger than Jasper. And in the second half, for a moment, for like 5 minutes, he unlocks his true Starlight ability, and he wins the fight. Okay, and well, I mean, after that, everything goes back to normal until basically the final battle of the story, where the crystal gems tried taking on this villain Chaos, but Chaos was too powerful, and so Luke Cosmos came in and defended them. And on his 18th birthday, he unlocked 100% of his power, went full freaking Super Saiyan, and winning this fight. And the fact is, at this point, actually, I think this is a good time to go over Luke Cosmos's feats. Well, not his feats specifically, but his abilities. So, abilities he has. He has superhuman strength that is higher than Jasper's, arguably higher than Amber, honestly. And he can move at light speed in a way that makes everything around him in like basically frozen in time. He can manipulate reality. He can erase universes. He can basically freeze time with his power. His abilities just simply match Sailor Moons, right? He has star-based star. His power is called Starlight. He can create yellow energy constructs like a star sword that when he swings it releases energy slashes, a shield that when he puts both arms together shoots a Kamehameha style energy blast, and freaking a giant freaking yellow energy star shaped shuriken like he's freaking Ash Greninja and just insanity. I explained his durability, right? Healing factor, but yeah, he ends up winning this fight, and the fact is that's not really all, honestly. By okay. I'm not explaining this dude well enough. But the fact is, you think, oh, well, this guy didn't seem to reach Sailor Moon's level if he just faced a Earth-based threat. But that's the thing. It's not. Even though the original story ends after this fight, showing that he has surpassed the other crystal gems, he does evolve again. Even though I haven't written this, this is canon. He does end up fighting a multiversal threat. Don't know the name of this threat yet. Maybe an evolved version of Chaos. I don't know. And that's when his form evolved. If you guys were aware of the image that I showed between Sailor Moon versus Luke Cosmos, this is when he's like around the age of 20. He wears an armored-looking suit. He has his star sword. His eyes glow. Basically evolving into a Star King or a Star Knight. I have no idea what to call this form. But at this point, he basically equals to Sailor Moon, or higher, really. At this point, he basically becomes Tier 3 conceptual being. And in this form, once he unlocks this form, he no longer needs fusion. Like, he loses the ability to fuse, but that's because he no longer needs it. And like I said, in this form, he can manipulate time, space, reality. He can erase universes, realities, dimensions, whatever. He basically becomes freaking immortal. He can move beyond light speed, strength that allows him to shatter planets. I don't know what else to say about Luke Cosmos in this fight, honestly, because that's about it. Like, he starts out as a boy whose birth altered reality permanently. He starts out as a powerless boy, then by the age of 18, he evolves into his true powers. It's insane. It's insane. It's insanity. So yes, if you people are wondering, yes, Luke Cosmos is basically the same as Sailor Moon when you think about it. They both are kind, pure-hearted people who don't want to fight, but are willing to do so. Like, that's not true. What I think is different between them has to be, once again, resolved. but I'll explain that after the matchup. So I'm just going to go ahead and start the scenario, right? So, Luke Cosmos versus Sailor Moon. Star Warrior versus Cosmic Angel. Which one wins? Let's go. So what happens here is that in the scenario, I see Sailor Moon in her usual schoolgirl outfit, just walking through the streets, all happy, like da 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 da, like. But then she senses Luke Cosmo, and when he appears, and then she transforms into Sailor Moon, and then confronts him, and she's like, "Stop right there, evil dude!" And he's like, "I'm sorry, I just got here." And then he looks around and realizes that the way he landed on the earth basically caused some damage to like the ground. Like he was literally standing in a crater, and he's like, "Oh, I can see how this looks bad." So Sailor Moon starts fighting him, throwing energy attacks. Her whole like tiara throw, like freaking Wonder Woman. Or I guess you could also say I'm She-Ra. Oh dang. Sailor Moon is basically She-Ra. Anyway. And She-Ra is like Wonder Woman. Oh my goodness, I see the parallels now. Anyway. So yeah, she starts attacking him, and he just starts like speed dodging, like boom, boom, like Ultra Instinct, like whoa. And she's like, "Chill, lady, I don't want to fight." He's like, Nothing you're gonna say is gonna convince me, villain." And he's like, I think you got things messed up, but I see you're not gonna let this go, so, you know what the heck. So he activates his super form and just one-shots Sailor Moon like miles away out of the city, and he's like, "I think I should have held back a little." And then he just like uses his light speed travel to zoom over to the desert to see Sailor Moon just standing perfectly unharmed. He's like, "That is some serious durability." And then they basically like throw hands for a while, like I said, I don't think he was ever actually good at martial arts. Let me look that up, honestly. Is Sailor Moon... Hold on. Does Sailor Moon have hand to hand? Okay, yes, she does. This entire time, I just thought she was a long-range fighter with no combat skills, but apparently she does. So yeah, they boxed for a while, and honestly, I would probably give hand-to-hand combat advantage to Luke Cosmos, because he actually trained. I don't know if Sailor Moon actually trained in hand-to-hand combat, or if this was just instinct. But yeah, they go back and forth. There's strikes like shattering the ground and the mountains around them, and then after a while being like evenly matched. Well, actually, scratch that. They weren't evenly matched. Like, his super form is easily stronger than base form Sailor Moon. So Sailor Moon would have to transform into her super form, and then they like zoom into space and start having their space battle for using her cosmic energy attacks. And Luke Cosmos countering like with his shield and sword, like blocking the attacks with his shield and shooting energy slashes from his sword. But then it's like they have a energy blast connection where it's like two Kamehameha style blasts collided, but then just self-destruct in the middle because apparently they were evenly as powerful. So it's like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, they're just moving around at light speed, being evenly matched with Luke Cosmos using his sword and whatever weapon that Sailor Moon has. Like, what weapon does Sailor Moon have? I am sorry if I keep having to look this stuff up. What weapon does say? Apparently her magic wand can turn into a sword. Dang. Actually, yeah, I think her magic girl wand can turn into any weapon, actually. So yeah, it's like her magic wand sword versus his energy sword, and it's like the clashes between their blades cause shock waves and whatever, like energy attacks, like whatever you want to say in this fight. It's like they're shattering reality, like breaking through, shattering, like not shattering, sorry, but cracking the walls of the universe in their fight. And then after a while, they both decide to ascend into their final form. Luke Cosmos entering his Star Warrior form, and Sailor Moon going into her angel form, and this time the battle becomes kind of like what Golden Superman versus Angel Electros turned into, where it was multiversal. Their attacks affected reality, erased universes, their attacks easily shattered planets to dust. And after a while, Luke Cosmos is like, you know what, I think we need to end this fight because we're causing too much damage. And then Sailor Moon, who's actually aware, unlike Superman in my previous video, looks around and she's like, oh yeah, good point. Okay, fine. How about we each just use one final attack, and whoever's attack wins decides the outcome of this battle. And he's like, okay. So what he does is, yeah, he doesn't choose to use his overpowered shuriken. What he does is that he decides to take his energy sword and supercharge it, causing it to grow in size with this giant anime-style giant energy blade that can easily slice a planet. And then Sailor Moon kind of decides, you know what, I'm just going to do the same here. And so they do one final power clash with the power of their strikes, with like her cosmic energy and his starlight energy just shooting in all directions like it's a freaking Conqueror's Hockey clash. And at the end of the battle, both of them were pretty much on their knees in pain. But then Luke Cosmos was able to stand back up, and he's like, are you willing to go on? And she's like, I don't think I can do anymore, honestly. Take this fight. He's like, okay, I hate to do this to you. I wish we could be friends. Erases her. The end. Although, to be honest, this would never happen. Like, if Luke Cosmos and Sailor Moon truly met, they would easily have just forgotten the battle would have never even happened, and they would have immediately became good friends. So, in my own personal opinion, in my fan story, I could actually see Luke Cosmos and Sailor Moon actually dating each other because of how similar they are as people. But that's not gonna ever be canon. So the fact is, the battle ends. It could have gone, and this battle was really, really close when you think about it. It could have gone either way, but Sailor Moon just said that she just couldn't go anymore. Luke Cosmos could have gone a little more, and he's like, "Oh, you're giving me the victory?" Um, we both went multiversal, and we were evenly matched throughout most of the fight. But you're giving me this victory, and so anyone who's a Sailor Moon fan, especially my friend who suggested this, yes, I gave Luke Cosmos the win, but just to keep in mind that their personalities, their personalities, their abilities, their feats are nearly identical. They're practically the same person when you think about it. So the fact that, so basically when you think about it, this battle could have easily ended as either a draw or Sailor Moon winning. But I decided to give Luke Cosmos this victory because his resolve, his determination, he just, throughout the fight, he's like, look, girl, I don't want to fight you. This is a huge, big misunderstanding. And then it's like, at like the climax of the battle, and she's like, oh, I see your point. Okay, let's just do one final clash. If you beat me in this attack, then you can win. And technically he did win, because it's like, even though both of them landed on his knees, he was able to stand back up. Well, she just couldn't. So, I'm sorry to say, Sailor Moon fans, Sailor Moon did not get this victory. But just to keep in mind, they were pretty much evenly matched. This could have gone either way. And so, if you argue that Sailor Moon could have won this fight, that's your opinion. I'm just speaking from my opinion. That both Sailor Moon and Luke Cosmos, they're just pure-hearted characters, pacifistic by nature. Just neither one of them would choose, if they had the choice, both of them would rather talk things out than fight. But the fact that Sailor Moon started this entire fight because she mistaken Luke Cosmos as a cosmic threat, which is understandable because of, just like with Eltros, his aura it's very like, I can't really tell if you're good or evil based on this aura. You're just too mysterious. So anyway, battle ends. Winner, Luke Cosmos, but it could have gone either way. So you could say it was more like a... So the way I see it, it was a 50-45 chance. And I gave Luke Cosmos the slight edge. But even though he just didn't really want to fight in the first place, when I said it came down to resolve, it's because Sailor Moon, in most battles, will hesitate. Luke Cosmos has the kind of resolve. It's like, look, I'm a chill, good guy here, but if I have to erase you in order to keep the universe safe, I'll do it. So yeah, I hope you guys really understand about this matchup. I did a better job explaining Superman versus Eldros than I did in this fight. Just keep in mind that they started Earth level, evenly matched. went up into space, entering their super forms. Again, they were evenly matched, and then they went into their god forms. Once again, evenly matched, but somehow Luke Cosmos' god form had a slight edge in power, but I don't think that really would have mattered in the conclusion of this fight. So anyway, yeah. Luke Cosmos versus Sailor Moon. Close match, but I give it to Luke Cosmos. And so, if you guys enjoyed this fight, please like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll post my next matchup video later. Bye.